Hello everyone, friends, and do you know why I'm wearing a shirt? It's because today my channel has reached
3.86 thousand subscribers.
It's not a lot, not a little, but nevertheless it's a significant milestone for my channel. And of course I want to say a huge thank you to all of you, because if it weren't for you, this channel might not even exist. But now let's move on to the main topic of this video. A lot of people, both friends and strangers, have asked me the same questions, which go like this. I've been training my biceps in different ways, but for some reason they don't hurt after a workout. Or I train my biceps, but for some reason they're not growing. And first of all, let me tell you that if you don't feel any soreness after your workout, it doesn't mean your muscles aren't growing. Most likely it means that either your workout was too easy, or you've reached the point where your body has adapted to your training and it's time to increase your workload. After all, without progressive overload, there is no growth. And now we smoothly move on to the question, am I doing it right or wrong? In this video, I'll show you 5 mistakes, or as you could also call them, 5 tips that everyone should know when training their biceps. By the way, when I shared these tips, which will be shown in this video with my friends, they finally broke through their plateau. So these aren't just empty tips, they've actually been tested and not just on one person. And we'll start with the simplest thing. How should we grip the bar? At what distance should our hands be? And the answer is simple. You need to approach the bar, stand in front of it, and simply let your arms hang down. The distance at which your hands naturally hang is the optimal grip width for you. That's the distance you should use to grip the bar. So we've figured out the distance between our hands. But what is the correct hand position? You probably haven't even paid attention to this, but it's actually the mistake that most people make in the gym, at least from what I've observed. And most often, people do all sorts of dumbbell and barbell lifts with their wrists facing themselves. In other words, they twist their wrists inward. So, what's the mistake, you might ask? The mistake is that with this grip, you're engaging not only your biceps, but also your forearms. And quite a lot, actually. So how should you be holding your wrists correctly? You should keep them facing away from you, but without bending them too much. That's also incorrect. This way, you minimize the involvement of your forearms and maximize the engagement of your biceps. And now we move directly to lifting the bar. Here, people also make a lot of mistakes. Let's look at a few of them. First, they work with only half the range of motion, meaning their movement looks something like this. They lift the barbell and lower it only about this much, then lift and lower again. So the biceps are barely working at all. Second, they swing the barbell up using cheating. Third, they lift the barbell too high. And fourth, they do barbell curls with their elbows moving backward. Let's break everything down step by step. Working with a partial range of motion doesn't allow the muscles to work fully. Swinging the barbell up with cheating basically turns off the biceps completely. This is especially true for beginners, since they perform cheating incorrectly. And I've already said many times in my videos how to do cheating correctly. But nevertheless, I'll explain it once again now. You shouldn't arch your lower back too much. That is, when you swing the barbell up, there shouldn't be any backward leaning like this. You need to avoid that. If you're going to use cheating, do it in the lower phase of the movement. So, you lean forward, swing the barbell up, bring your body to a perpendicular position, and don't move your torso back any further. At the initial stages, I actually recommend that you avoid cheating altogether and do all kinds of barbell and dumbbell curls right up against the wall. In other words, do strict curls. This way you'll eliminate cheating as much as possible and engage your biceps to the fullest. The third point on our list is swinging the barbell up too high. When we swing the barbell up too high, at the top position our biceps are already disengaged and all the load shifts either to the front deltoid, or if you're using a Smith machine, the entire weight of the bar ends up directly on your elbows. And at this point, the biceps will no longer be working. And the last thing in this section is doing biceps curls while moving your elbows backward. This isn't a mistake, but nevertheless, it's not something beginners should be doing. This exercise is used by experienced bodybuilders during their competition prep, and this exercise is needed to work on biceps conditioning. This exercise is alternated with classic barbell curls, but it's not done on a regular basis. So if you've been doing this all the time before, I recommend you reconsider your training split. I'll also show you an extra tip to work your biceps to the max. When you lift the barbell, you start to engage your front delts a bit and bring your elbows forward. And in this way, you contract your biceps as much as possible. Next, we'll move on to the squat bench. A lot of mistakes are made here too, even though this bench is designed to let you do the exercise as precisely as possible without any cheating. So the fourth mistake that a lot of people make is sitting too deep on the squat bench. People sit down and literally wrap themselves around it, pressing their armpits against it. As a result, you will be engaging your delts in the movement, which will certainly boost your ego, since it's much easier to lift heavier weights this way. But for better biceps development, we need to avoid this and perform the exercise as follows. That is, all the support should be on our elbows, and there should be a gap between the bench and your armpits. And now we've reached the last fifth mistake that a huge number of people make when training their biceps on the squat bench, and that is fully straightening your arms at the elbow joint. As I mentioned earlier, you shouldn't work in only half the range of motion, nor should you swing the barbell up too high. And this also applies when working on the squat bench. But while we fully straighten our elbows when doing classic standing bicep curls, on the squat bench we should never do this, because it can lead to a biceps tear. So remember, you shouldn't fully extend your elbows, you shouldn't work in only half the range of motion, and you also shouldn't throw the barbell up too high, because at the top your biceps will simply be relaxed. Well, my friends, these are the 5 main mistakes I showed you in this video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave your comment, give it a royal like, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time. Do you hear?